Let's get it on!
Sprawl and brawl, ground and pound. Get ready for an MMA showdown. Now, the ultimate Octagon Insider, Sean and Tristan DuCross.
All right, beautiful people. We are the DuCross Brothers right here, live for you in living color. I'm Tristan DuCross alongside of my partner in crime, as always, is my brother, Sean DuCross. And boy, do we have a show in store for you guys. And let me just tell you, it's a barn burner, right, Sean?
Yeah, but so I just wanted to start off really quick. We'll get into the headline, but just got to touch on one thing here.
Yep.
We want to send out our prayers and everything to the Mark Coleman family. We don't know Mark Coleman. We've never met Mark Coleman, but he's been an icon and I guess you could say a pioneer to the MMA sports world.
Facts.
And it's one of those things that he did something that not often do you say is very heroic, but he's in critical condition, I guess you could say, because he went in and saved his family and then went in after his dog from a fire. If that's not bravery, if that's not guts, if that doesn't show what type of man Mark Coleman really is, I don't know what does, because there's not a lot of people in this world that would sacrifice themselves like he did to save his mom and to save his dad and try to go back in and save his own dog before collapsing.
I agree. Like, it's hopefully everything, he fights through this. I really hope so. But we're sending our thoughts and our well wishes to him and his family. Incredible thing that he did and sacrificed himself. So our prayers are with him, and hopefully the whole entire MMA community, all their prayers are with him too as well. In the process of that, man, just before the 12 o'clock hour, right, Sean? Always seems to be something, huh?
Absolutely.
We always talk about the 12 o'clock hour, that when we go live, we are still actively seeking, actively looking, staying on top of breaking news and everything else leading up through the course of the day. Today, it is no different, because not only did we get something interesting, Sean, it's official, if you will. Nate Diaz will take on Jorge Masvidal in a rematch that they once fought for the BMF title. But it won't be for the BMF title. It won't be in MMA. Nope. They're going boxing. 10 rounds. Can you believe that this is happening, Sean? That Nate Diaz has been chomping at the bit to get involved and fight different people. And he's been linked to several names, right, Sean? But here we are, and his boxing debut is against Jorge Masvidal.
Well, it's not Nate Diaz's boxing debut. It's Jorge Masvidal's boxing debut. You're forgetting. Nate Diaz already boxed.
That's true.
Nate Diaz has already been in a squared circle with a boxing match. He took on Jake Paul. So you look at this bout, it's like, why is Jorge Masvidal really taking this bout? The 205ers, I think it's the 305 is what they're saying it is, and it's going to be in Inglewood, California.
Right.
You talk about this bout, and the only thing that you got Jorge Masvidal doing, Tristan, is the fact that he has game bred boxing, game bred bare knuckle MMA. That's his claim to fame right now.
This is true.
He has not fought since 2023. At least Nate Diaz has something behind his weight. He has fought. He has boxed. You're getting into a boxing fight with a guy who tentatively lost in 2019 because of a laceration.
This is true.
You got lucky in an MMA bout, essentially, because the fight got stopped because of a cut. Now you're going to go into a boxing ring with boxing rules where you haven't physically competed in an MMA bout or physically competed since 2023. I don't see how smart that is.
I don't either at this point.
It feels like it's just a quick payday. It's a quick buck
It
for
is.
Jorge Masvidal.
100%.
And as I'm talking out loud and thinking this out loud.
Go for it.
You know, my head starts to go 50,000 different ways.
I agree. It happens. It's okay.
So, is this a prelude to Jake Paul? Because if Nate Diaz wins, he's 1-1 as a professional boxer. And does he go after another payday with Jake Paul for the rubber match? Or we've seen the videos of where Jorge Masvidal has showed up in Florida at basically the doorstep of Jake Paul and kind of enticed him into a fight. So would this be his way of convincing Jake Paul that if he wins, he's the next one?
I want to touch on the Jake Paul situation, but we are going to talk about Jake Paul and Tyson. So we can bleed that over. But Sean, at what point? Matter of fact, Sean, I was talking about this with my dad, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more in depth too later on in the show. But when is enough of these freak shows? Right? I guess we're at the point that we're about making money, and I'm okay with that.
Are you okay with that? Because the problem here is that these freak shows, as people are calling them,
yes,
we went through a period of time where these freak shows were popping up left and right and left, everything underneath the moon.
Right.
Then it subsequently went underneath the mat, underneath the rug. We didn't really hear about these freak shows. Now we're starting to hear about them again.
Right.
We got one that we're going to talk about in a little bit. There's another one that's in development that we're going to talk about. We talked about last week about our show being crazy. We talk about the blending of our shows from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, right?
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that too.
The show tonight follows the trend of chaos.
Yes.
And the next level of weird or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
This show piggybacks off of that again, of the statement we stated last week about our show. We got a storyboard, essentially, without really developing a storyboard, but it just pops up that way.
It's funny that you say that because I covered Dan Henderson's Hendo's fight night, right?
Yeah.
Over the weekend. And I'm just going to pop this right in here right now and touch on it because, my God, incredible fights. I got to see 11 smashes.
But don't you want to finish the talk first?
Yes, but one reason why I'm tying this in real quick, and I'll talk about Dan Henderson's fight night a little bit later on in the evening. But I spoke to Matt Padilla, who is the matchmaker for Dan Henderson. You know what he told me? Sounded eerily similar. Is because we do things different than everybody else. You just said, right? We have like a map and a storyboard of how one show goes from one show to another show. We don't just pop up and, well, it is what it is kind of deal. We don't do that. It is one thing and flows into next week after week after week. Matt Padilla, I was sitting with him that night, and we're talking about so much stuff. And I hope if Matt's listening to this, brother, you did a good job. But you said something exactly what Sean and I do. And he said that he's taking matchmaking differently than everybody else, and it's more of a storyboard. He wants certain fighters. He has a game plan, but it's what's the outcome going to be? So he could see matches further ahead than what anybody else can.
So you're talking about seeing matches further ahead, and that goes exactly into what I was just talking about. Is this a prelude to what we're looking at versus Jake Paul? Are we trying to justify another Jake Paul setup? Is that why he did the fight with Mike Tyson? Again, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But you're talking about setting up and thinking about things further. So if you're thinking about dominoes, if you're thinking about playing the long game, if you're thinking about playing chess, right? You're looking for your next checkmate. Is this that checkmate?
I think it is.
Is this Nate Diaz's checkmate to go, I got you. I don't want to fight you in an MMA bout. That's too easy for me.
So both fighters, though, are essentially done in mixed martial arts.
You would think.
Jorge Masvidal has the Game Bread promotion that he has. So it's going to be interesting to see where this kind of develops and where this kind of goes from. We still don't essentially know, though. Is this going to be underneath Game Bread? Or is this underneath boxing rules
from what,
and everything else?
So from what I've read and followed and stuff like that, so it's a legit boxing bout.
Yes,
at
10
the
rounds.
Kia Forum, 10 rounds.
Yep.
And it's going to be on Fan Mio. So it's not going to be anything to do with Game Bread.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know.
It's going to be promoted by Game Bread and Real Inc.
Okay.
So they're both going to be co-promoting this whole entire bout. And then the bout is going to be televised on pay-per-view on Fan Mio. Now, here's the other kicker, okay? I don't think I'm going to go out of my way because the pay-per-view itself on Fan Mio, which also did Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul. See? Tie-in. You're welcome. So, ironically, it's on Fan Mio that did the Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather.
Yes.
This pay-per-view is going to cost $79.99 for this bout. Then if you pre-order it now through April 12th,
right?
Shameless plug, we're not getting paid for it. Is that it's going to be $49.99. I think you're more inclined to do it for $49.99 than $79.99.
Would you?
If you're going to pay for it, yeah, I'm not paying $79 for this because you've got.
I would pay $49 for the expedition or whatever we're going to get with the Jake Paul and the Mike Tyson fight. I'd rather spend my money on that than Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal. I don't know why. I have this.
Well, after we talk about the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, you probably will think differently.
Probably this is true.
But so you look at this fight and you've got that price tag, right?
Yes.
So now my concern becomes, what exactly are we going to get on that card? What are we going to get?
I don't know. I saw earlier that Johnny Cineros was like, yo, get me on that card. So I know he's interested. He's local. He wants on the card. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of local a lot of fighters that are going to be out here in the LA, San Diego area are going to want to be on that card.
Okay. Again, let me educate the fans.
Go.
And let me educate you real quick.
Drop it.
This is going to be way too forward for a lot of people that are going to hear this for the first time, okay? Don't make the mistake that Golden Boy Promotions did, because this has that similar making of a it show like Golden Boy. If you go all local for a boxing bout or think about that approach, it's going to be garbage, it's going to be terrible, and there's going to be no wiggle room around it. So for their sake and for your comment, no. There should not be any local talent unless it is merely simply on the undercard. In order to sell this to the fight fans for $79.99,
you're going to need more than that one fight.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You need to have a legit co-main event boxing bout.
That's going to draw boxing fans
like
to
when
it.
Jake Paul
I believe
fights,
you.
Who does he have? Who's subsequently always the co-main event on every card he's on?
The girls. Amanda Serrano versus whoever usually it is.
Amanda Serrano's always with him.
Yep.
That's always a catch for any boxing fan, especially for women, that's going to draw.
I'll buy your brain on that one.
If you're going to do this the right way, You need to have that one co-main event that's going to draw the boxing fan or a fight fan, for that matter, that gets you going, I see you.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they need to get to. And I think that's where we need to watch as to what's coming down the pipe to see what it's going to look like.
Man, oh man. But we got to go to a break because we got UFC, the fallout of 299. What did we tell you about Michael Venom Page? And if y'all know, Chito Vera at his weight cut did not look good and it did not translate well in his fight. More with your brothers, Sean and Tristan DuCross, right here in the Warriors Den. We'll be right back with some UFC talking so much more with your boys. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the DuCross Brothers Sports Warriors Live right here. Hey, thank you guys for joining us every single time in the Warriors Den. We appreciate the love. You know it every single time. But, man, do we have a show for you. And make no mistake about it. Is that even when we're here, it's interesting because UFC 299 happened over the weekend. And it was headlined by Sugar O'Malley. And again, a tie-in here real quick. There was a dude at Dan Henderson's that was like a knockoff of Sugar O'Malley. I even looked at Matt Padilla and was like, who is that guy? So I will be talking about him too. But yeah, so you had Sugar versus Marlon Vera. Chito Vera. Dustin Poirier versus BSD. And then I want to talk
about calling him BSD. That just sounds weird.
Dude,
it sounded weird when you initially did it, and then I was thinking about it after the show, and I was like, that's really weird to say.
Sean, it's Benoit Saint Denis. BSD.
BSD got flattened.
Yes, he did.
Like a pancake.
But before I get to that, do you remember what I said about that card? Is that there was a fight on the undercard that I was looking at that I was intrigued about too?
Yeah.
Do you remember what I said who it was?
No, I don't. Because I didn't care about the undercard.
Curtis Blades.
Yeah.
Versus Almeida.
Uh-huh.
For the first time, Sean, Curtis got thrown around like a ragdoll for the first 5 minutes of that fight. Like, if you've never seen a wrestler get in on Curtis Blades, y'all might want to watch that fight alone because Curtis was getting outclassed, outmatched, beaten at every corner. And then in the second round, Sean, Curtis did exactly what I wanted him to do. He's not a good defender, but by God, don't stand in front of him and trade shots with him.
Right. Why would anybody stand there?
Almeida thought it was a brilliant idea. Throw out the first 5 minutes of the fight and go, you know what? It's cool, dude. We could go at it. We could swing like two big dudes. And then he got checked. And he was like, nah, I'm good, bro. We going back to wrestling. He went for a takedown and ate an uppercut. And then it was over, like lights out, dude. He started dropping hammer fists on him like he stole his lunch money. He's like, nope, we're going to end this. And Curtis Blades just beated him into submission. So, congratulations to Curtis Blades and Almeida. You get an absolute F for giving up on what was working for you in the first 5 minutes. Sean, 9 takedowns, bro. 9 takedowns. Just throwing them around the ring like a rag doll.
But that's funny because you talk about the first 5 minutes was all Almeida. Well, the first couple minutes of the first round was all BSD and made you think about, like, really?
You know you like it.
Really, Dustin Poirier, like, this is how you're going to go out? And then all of a sudden, BSD lost his tank. And then somewhere in between, Dustin Poirier got a second wind. And then that's basically all he wrote.
Again, right? Dustin Poirier is a gamer from the beginning of a fight till the end of the fight. It doesn't matter. This guy knows when it's time to turn on the heat, when to apply pressure. And when he saw BSD start struggling, and he immediately went for a standing guillotine, I thought that was over. When he got that guillotine and he hooked it in, I was like, oh, he's going to finish him with a choke? And then he let go of it. He's like, nah, I'm good. Dropped him, hit him with the right, Catch him with the left. Done. I was like
one of my notes is that Dustin Poirier turned back Father Time.
Sometimes he can.
He's reminding me very similar to Donald Cerrone. I'm going to just go out on my shield.
At that point in his career, you would think that is the ultimate game plan. Because either A, you're going to, backtrack real quick, because I got something to say about that, because you said Donald Cerrone. Donald Cerrone, what was he notoriously able to do in his career? Let's give him kudos. Tip our hat to, right?
He always brought the fight.
Not only did he bring the fight, but he always seemed to look at a fighter different from everybody else. If a fighter was not a name person, right? He would tend to be inclined to say, you know what? I don't care. I want to fight him. He would give the kid an opportunity to step inside the cage against him because either one of two things. You're going to go out on your shield or you're going to become a star. Dustin Poirier is doing that too now. He looked at BSD and saw something in him to give him that opportunity to stand in the middle of that cage, go one-on-one with Dustin Poirier, and see if you can live up to the big lights because of your undefeated streak.
And that's the thing. When you look at Donald Cerrone, we always said had problems catching up to the big lights.
Yes.
And then you look at where we're at now with Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier is coming back off of a knockout for the BMF title against Justin Gaethje, right?
Yep.
Vicious head kick. Many people said, "Ooh, is he on his way out?" BSD, full tilt, straight ahead, that's his swagger. Then you get into this fight and he knocks out BSD. Still stupid. The fact that I'm still referring to him, weird, but okay.
Okay, Sean did say his real name.
It's okay.
Benoit Saint Denis. Go ahead. Say it. BSD is a hell of a lot better.
So you look
GSP?
GSP. So you look at the situation, right? And you look at the fact that he came back and he won, right? So he turns back Father Time. What's next? Where does he go from here? Who are his next fights? Well, he's not going to get a title fight yet. But you got guys that he can run it back against. Justin Gaethje, defend his loss, go out back after the BMF title.
I still think that would be scary.
So he could get the winner of Justin Gaethje versus Holloway, or the loser of Oliveira versus Terlusi and Lannon.
Yeah.
Sorry if I said his name wrong, but he could get the loser of that one. And then if he wins either one of those bouts, then he will get his title shot opportunity one last time. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out for Dustin Poirier. It's much like, again, how is it all going to play out with MVP? MVP didn't come in and knock out Kevin Holland, but he did what we thought he was going to do, beat Kevin Holland.
Yes.
He did exactly what we thought he was going to do. He kept the distance. He pieced them up. Kevin Holland looked way outmatched, way outgunned. But again, MVP is notoriously known for showing up and beating up on guys he should beat.
Yep.
He has a trouble beating up guys that are a little bit higher in his level. Douglas Lima. Other guys of the upper echelon of Bellator he struggled with.
Yes.
Middle of the road guys, bottom feeders, killed 90% of the time. Now you look at UFC and you wonder if MVP Michael Venom Page has finally figured it out.
Able to find his rhythm in the UFC. Now, after his first one, I do got to give him credit though, right? Is because in the back we saw the clip of him trying to do this rolling back elbow.
Yeah.
He did land it in the fight. But again, what did I tell you that this fight was going to be? This fight was seamlessly going to be a fight of two tails. Dancing, or it's going to go to the decision.
Right.
Ain't nobody knocking out anybody, let's be honest. But what is unique in this fight that you saw with Michael Venom Page And people can ridicule me for this all you want. But what I saw from Michael Venom Page was something similar to what I saw with Anderson Silva in the early years. That distance, the awkwardness, yes, we all look for that finish, right? But I don't want to be inside that cage against a guy that I don't know which angle he is coming from.
And that's the thing. You touched on it interesting about comparing him to Anderson Silva, because the way that he did come out, the way that he presented, felt very similar to an Anderson Silva. But here's the thing. How much of the growth, and I say that there's probably growth in this fight, because I don't think I've seen anybody with a quicker 1-2 than what I saw with Michael Venom Page.
Agreed.
He probably popped off a 1-2 quicker than somebody pops off a jab. Like, you look at somebody and he already hit you twice.
Didn't look like at points, Sean.
But here's the kicker. How much of that is because he went to boxing for a little bit?
Exactly.
How much of this was because he went to boxing and understood the distance, understood the angles?
Again, that's what separates everybody that's either trying to evolve as a fighter, step it up in the game, is because it's what are you doing to become better than what you were before? Are you taking a game plan and executing it? Are you trying to adapt something new? Are you getting a new coach? What are you doing to better accustom you inside that cage? Michael Venom Page did exactly that. Stepped outside of his comfort zone. Went somewhere new. Did something different by going into boxing. Bare knuckle to begin with. He's doing things that a lot of people said, why? Why would you be doing this? Why not? You get your name in the lights.
I've always said
you learn differently. And again, he put Holland in a bad spot because Holland's a gamer. But he was put in a bad spot.
And Tristan, and I've always said that in order to thrive or find success, sometimes you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations.
100%.
By him going to boxing and bare knuckle, it put him in an uncomfortable environment to challenge his technique and what his future really could be.
Correct.
That's what I saw. But here's an interesting thing, is that at this point, because he's still fresh, and the fact that he's shown that he struggles with the upper echelon of 170.
Right.
Do you play into the favoritism of his skill set? Or do you go for the jugular and see just how good he is or could be? Because right now, the only fight I say that's next for Michael Venom Page is a stylistic matchup that is very similar. That's Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
It's a favorable matchup.
Very favorable. Very favorable. Similar styles, similar technique. Bodes what should be an easier bout as that middle of the road.
Yes, the middle of the pack.
A gatekeeper, if you will.
Yep.
You know Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is going to give you a good bout. You know that he's going to be there to give you a fight. But he's going to give you that awkward match, that karate style, that also Michael Venom Page typically likes to do.
100%. But to what extent do we continue to feed them and continue to move them in such a way that we have seen them now? Because if it's not a favorable matchup and it's not a good matchup to begin with, what do we do? Michael Venom Page cannot continue down the path of where we are at right now and just be okay with being in the middle of the pack. Don't know why our screen froze. All right, we're going to try to get our screen unfrozen. Don't know why it exactly has frozen. But yeah, so we're going to go to a break, come back with the O'Malley retains, and then we also got Jake Paul versus Tyson. And we'll be right back after this break. Sit tight, guys. All right, everybody, back in the Warriors Den with your boys, Sean and Tristan DuCross. Hey, sorry about that little hiccup. Don't know why our screen froze for a second, but now we're back. As you can see, we're in living color. We're moving. So, yes, that is happening right now. But, Sean, Sugar O'Malley also won in his UFC fight against Chito Vera. Where do we go with Sugar 2? Because as of right now, Sugar retained, correct. But there's interesting matchups that are on the horizon.
Very interesting, depending on which way Sugar wants to go. Because of him retaining, his title. And boy, dude, did he crack Chito Vera with that knee?
The fact, Sean, that he set that up the exact same way with a feint and then a punch and did the same movement, and Chito thought that he was coming with the same exact setup. Instead, he went, hey, I'm up here. Nope, cracked it with the knee.
Most people would have got dropped.
That is an IQ that you don't want to face inside if at any point in time that you can all of a sudden toy with a fighter and switch it up on a dime.
Yeah, and his thought process is switching up on a dime because he called out to Poirier at the end of that fight and called him out and that he wants that fight.
I don't think he wants that fight.
If you listen to his presser after, I think he wants that fight. But Dana White let him go up and fight that weight class.
Do you want to go up that weight class? Because I think that a fighter that makes perfect sense for him is Mirab Develishishi. I'm going to butcher that guy's name.
You are.
Go ahead. See, you're right.
I had it last night and then this afternoon until you butchered it, and I know you butchered it because that's not even close. Devilish Billy, I believe is how you say it. But I wrote it down because I was like, oh, dude, I'm gonna kill this. And then I was listening to it, and I was like, okay, I got it. Then you butchered it, and it's like, oh, no.
You lost it. But, Sean, he's on a 10-fight win streak. So if you're looking at a guy that's going to elevate, but that matchup between those two, your favorite thing, right? Stylistic matchups, this is a complete mismatch.
Oh, it is, because Merab is very capable of taking down a fighter and beating him down on the mat over and over and over again. It would be interesting to see if O'Malley can go ahead and prevent the takedowns. Or is he maybe an ex-Conor McGregor that can't defend a takedown, can't stop a takedown?
Right.
Against Habib.
Yep.
It'll be very interesting because he is the next guy in line for Sugar O'Malley's title.
Right.
But if you listen to Sugar O'Malley talk about what's next, he says that he doesn't need the title. He's not about the title. And it was interesting because we heard our guy, Jimmy Smith, I heard him say this interesting statement on his podcast. When he worked for WWE, he said that he was always told, it's not the title that makes the fighter or the wrestler.
I agree.
It's the wrestler that makes the title. People that need the people that get the titles are the people that need the titles. O'Malley doesn't need the title anymore. It's cool that he has it. He says it. It's cool. Like, it's cool. But it's not a need for him. He's at the point now that he just wants to make money and fight. So, does he want the fight against Poirier? Maybe not. But is it one of those things that makes sense? Yeah. But so are a lot of other fights if you're not talking about titles. So there's a lot of avenues for him to go. There's a lot of places that he could go ahead and go, you know what? Yeah, I wouldn't mind fighting them.
I would like to see him against Corey Sandhagen, but he has a fight that's coming up at UFC 303, so I'll put a pause on that. But if he waits till after 303, but he comes down to Corey Sandhagen or Nurmagomedov, it will be definitely interesting to see who out of those two can come out fighting, because now that would be an interesting matchup. So there's a lot of avenues to play with, and it's cool. We'll continue to stay on top of what is going to happen with Sugar O'Malley and what they are going to do with him. But what we know clear as day, and it had the whole entire social media buzz from us to other media people, to bigger platforms than us. We got a showcase of showcases, and it simply is none other than Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. And I can't say it any other way than Mike Tyson, Jake Paul.
When you look at Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, and immediately after it was announced, and I got home from work, I immediately cut a little 1 minute promo.
Yes, you did.
On the what you call that you can find on our TikTok, the DuCross Bros. Just follow us over there on TikTok for our little short 1 minute clips
Our
here.
socials, all right down at the bottom.
So you look at the fight, right? And immediately I posed the question to everybody is this going to be pro or expedition? Which bout is this going to be? And people were like, oh, this is like a WWE fight. This is what this is going to be. This is how this fight's going to be. It's going to be an expedition. And no offense to Jake Paul, there is absolutely no way that this bout makes sense if it was a pro bout.
So, the minute this fight was announced, correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say probably within 24 hours, right? Every single person on social media thought that they knew what this fight was. Didn't you hear? Oh, it's going to be Jake Paul doesn't have to wear headgear, but Mike Tyson does. Correct? Something like that. You heard something like that?
You heard of different variations of things.
Right. Then you heard, oh my God, Jake Paul and Logan Paul, they could do a tag team and essentially could be 2-on-1. Wait, there's more. It's okay for Jake Paul to knock out Mike Tyson, but Mike Tyson can't knock out Jake Paul.
Tyrone Woodley version 2.0 again.
But wait, there's more. This is going to be a 6-round fight? Wait, no, it's going to be a 12-round fight. No, wait, it's going to be a 10-round fight. No, wait. Every 2 seconds, somebody put up a clip about what the rules were.
And nobody knows what the rules were.
Nobody knows what 100% what the rules are.
Not even the biggest person in the Jake Paul camp. And I say the biggest person in the Jake Paul camp, Tristan, because it's Ariel Helwani. If anybody's going to know anything, it's going to be Ariel Helwani.
100%.
The
and
one
what
guy,
did he say?
Ariel Helwani said that it's going to be a legit boxing bout.
Thank you.
No headgear. It'll be your typical boxing bout. The only thing they don't know yet is if it's going to be pro, because it's up to the Texas Athletic Commission to pass it. That's what they do know. Then my question that I asked on our
Hold
TikTok,
on. Real quick, before you go any further, I want to say this. So again, I got to love social media, Sean. I got to love social media. Because every freaking person that is on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, you name it, bro.
They thought they knew.
They thought they knew what all this is, but all it was freaking clickbait. You guys are frauds and fake phonies. That's what y'all are. You think you know something, but you don't. And you come off like you do. Go ask questions. Go seek out answers, and you'll get them. We got them.
Don't put out something that you think you know. But so Ariel Helwani then said the one question that I posed is that you look at what's going on with Mike Tyson, and I said Mike Tyson's never fought lower than 216.
Yes.
So this bout will feature a heavyweight bout. So you're going to ask Jake Paul to move up, to put more weight on, to put more muscle on for this fight.
And I would be deathly afraid of Jake Paul.
I can't figure out who I'm more afraid of, because if anything, this has a weird feeling of, okay, you watch all the highlights, all the clips, whether what's current, what's not current with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson,
57 years old.
Mike Tyson is still a scary dude.
In clips.
Yes. He still moves ridiculously quick.
We don't want another Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones. We don't want it. We don't need it.
That's what I'm saying is I feel like in that expedition bout,
Garbage.
Mike Tyson wasn't Mike Tyson.
That was trash.
Mike Tyson was probably about 40% in that fight.
Yep.
If he really went a hundo, he would have put that Roy Jones Jr. to sleep and put him night-night. If Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, I feel like this bout has the capability of being that ladder. That Mike Tyson's not going to go in there and be Mike Tyson because he's afraid he's going to hurt the golden child.
The only downside to this is two things. Come fight time, he'll be 58. Last time he fought, the last 2 times he fought, he was KO'd. I do not like when fighters feel like that they have to still continue to try to breathe life into something that is not there anymore. The glory days are not there anymore, Sean. To have a 58-year-old man step inside of a squared circle against a guy that is probably 30 years his senior?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. It's as bad as, I'm going to segue this way. Bro, we just heard Buster Douglas versus Spinks in a boxing fight. They are 70 years old.
And that's the thing. Like, you talk about
70.
You talk about being weird. You talk about the weird chaos of what's going on in boxing. You go from Mike Tyson and Jake Paul in what could be an interesting bout, but we got to wait till all the facts come out and really clean up that mess. But as we round out the show, we couldn't help but talk on the latest crazy in boxing, which is Buster Douglas, like you said, versus Michael Spinks, in what is now being described as the first ever AI boxing match for celebrity boxing.
Misfit boxing.
Like, well, you can't say misfit boxing because misfit boxing it's Logan Paul's thing.
Yes.
This is celebrity boxing.
No, it's hosted by Misfit Boxing. It will be hosted by Misfit Boxing. It will be 70-year-old men stepping inside with AI. They're fighting 70 years old, stepping inside. If at 70 years old, bro, you have to step inside of a squared circle again for a money grab?
I don't think it's going to be live. I really don't. That hasn't came out yet, Tristan.
No, I was listening on my drive.
Yeah, but it's not out yet. They don't know yet. They squared off. The thing that made everybody confused was because they squared off, and then it was announced that it's an AI bout. There's no information. They don't know anything else about it. And is it going to be computer generated? That's the one thing that everybody needs to know about what it's going to look like. But what it did look like tonight, Tristan, as we round out the show, is we did, in fact, see what we thought we were going to saw on AEW. And that was a big business AEW Dynamite tonight. Spoiler alert. The show started off with Mercedes Moné debuting to a big chant that I told you, I kept saying, shouldn't even be a chant. Shouldn't even be a chant. But they were chanting CEO. Like, that shouldn't even been a thing. But it was a thing. And it was a thing at the end of the show. And we were talking about it like, wait, what is going on here?
The Titantron said CEO. You want to talk about programming fans?
Right?
That's exactly what it was like. CEO. And everything she had was a jacket with CEO. Her hair said CEO. The crowd said CEO. The Titantron said CEO. So I guess she is the CEO.
So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out because I guess she's going to be back next week.
Yep. To, I guess, talk to the fans.
And then you talk about the thing, too. Again, spoiler alert, makes no sense. Wardlow loses.
Shocking.
Cleanly.
Nope, not shocked.
Cleanly.
Not shocked.
You built him up again.
to kill him again.
Now the Undisputed Kingdom means nothing.
Jack.
Missed the boat
0.
100% on the United Kingdom.
I feel bad for the Undisputed Kingdom. I love the group, love what they could have been about, but because without MJF, without Adam Cole being healthy, that was dead on arrival.
But still, even with Adam Cole, like you could have made it a new version of the NWO. You had them attacking people in the back. Why couldn't you have kept that momentum?
This is true.
Why couldn't you have kept that momentum? Why did you make Taven and Bennett in the back and bring the tag team titles to ROH? Mm-hmm. Why couldn't they have gone after the tag team titles in AEW? Like, you could have easily just pushed the envelope. Why didn't you? There are so many golden opportunities that they continue to miss. And by the way, Okada, as a heel in American TV, he's a dick.
He fits that gimmick to a T.
Like, why was he ever a face in New Japan?
Well, he was transitioning towards his out of New Japan, turning into that.
He's a dick.
Let's be honest. I hate the Young Bucks.
The arrogance, though, it meshes.
It does. But, dude, that
Young
coin
Bucks
flip
was dope.
The fact that Matt pulled out a coin and flipped it, and it went with the music in the background, very good. Very good. Very well done.
But, like, he's the one guy that legitimately right now is like, dude.
I don't like you, and I don't want to like you.
You're arrogant.
Yes.
You're arrogant, and you fit that mold so good.
And it's funny because you don't even have to hear him talk. Just his facials and his demeanor. I'm like, dude, I'm over it.
Or even when he does talk, and it's like the 1, 2, 3 lines that he does, it just oozes arrogance. And then the way that he strutted in the ring tonight was like, dude, everything about you, I don't like you.
Right.
Like, bravo for the home run they hit on Okada. But they still got all these other intertwined pieces right now that need clarity and smoothing out. But that's it. Unless you got something. Oh, the Dan Henderson.
I have to. Before we go, I have to give a couple shout outs. Temecula had Dan Henderson's fight night. Oh, matter of fact. Hold on. I hope this is okay with Matt, but I'm going to drop it right now. May 18th, Temecula, California. At Dan Henderson's gym, we will have Hendo Fight Night 16. It's going down, and Matt will be matchmaking that soon. So if you want on the card, get at him. Hopefully, we'll see some of you guys there again. Your brothers will be part of them again on May 18th. So make sure you get your tickets, you join your brothers, and we'll be there. In the process, man, it was cool. Got to see our boy John Brumley fight against David Morales. I've already spoken to him. He already knows how I feel about this fight. But when you had a guillotine choke, a la vintage John Brumley, if you don't know, we covered his first ever fight
for IE Fight Night.
And he had the guillotine choke. It was in. He let go, and that was all she wrote. I want to talk more about his fight, but I'm not going to. He knows what he needs to do. He's already addressed it. He's on the right track. I did tell you though. Where is it? The O'Malley guy that I was talking about was Ray Welsher. He took on Isaac Diaz. And where is it? Where is Ray Welsher? TKO unanswered strikes in the third round. It was an interesting night, too, because, dude, man, there was a lot of stoppages to unanswered strikes. There was even a stoppage at one point due to unanswered strikes. Dude tapped out. Cody Warner versus Preston Witchart ended with Cody winning due to unanswered strikes with the dude tapping out.
Hey, when you're an amateur, somebody's got to tap out eventually. And sometimes Getting hit too much in the face is not a fun thing.
Oh. Where is it?
Get it out quick, Tristan. We're over our time.
Jamie Nunez versus Mikhail Markovic. I have to touch on this real quick because holy cow, dude. You want to see almost a riot inside of arena?
We've almost seen a riot back on a reservation.
Sean, Mikhail Markovic versus Jamie Nunez. Me, Matt Padilla, Matt Padilla's father next to me, Paulson next to me. We got Ashley Yoder behind me, Jeremy Stevens behind me, fans all around. This dude had a SWAT sticker on his chest.
Oh, no.
And a German general. Oh, dude, it was all sorts of bad. And if he would have won, woo-hoo-hoo-hoo, I think something would have happened. Just saying. Man, it was a bad night. It was a bad night. Mikhail did win. So, but yeah, nonetheless, the guy with the SWAT sticker on his chest won. But submission choke, he won. Omar Raida is the new vacant lightweight title champion. Alex Ogus is the featherweight title champion. So congratulations, guys. You guys earned that. And I'll see you guys all at the next fight night. Congratulations, guys.
Get it on! Sprawl and brawl, ground and pound. Get ready for an MMA showdown. Now, the ultimate Octagon Insider, Sean and Tristan DuCross.